Hi everyone, my name is Verna, for those of you who don't know me, and this is my dog Mimi. She is my emotional support animal, per my therapist, not some random online website. So I just wanted to share this unfortunate experience we had last weekend at PDX Airport. I bought a last minute ticket to surprise my sister in Miami for Mother's Day, and I showed up to PDX on Friday with my dog, and I purchased a carrier the day before, and I even left the tags on it because it has the dimensions that show that it's the exact dimensions that are also listed on American's website. And when I got there, the lady, she had an attitude, maybe because I came in carrying the dog instead of having the dog in the carrier already. And she's like, "You need to put her in the carrier." I was like, "Yes, of course." And so I set the carrier down on their scale. I put Mimi inside of it. For reference, Mimi is under 15 pounds. She's a small dog. And I put her in the carrier. Now, I did try the carrier out the night before when I bought it to make sure that Mimi did fit in it, and that it was comfortable for her. And she laid down and she was fine. And I also had there was a dog that walked by us and like in the apartment, and she went crazy and did like a gazillion turns. So I knew she could also turn around, because that is one of the requirements listed on American's website, is that your dog has to be able to stand up and turn around in the kennel, the soft kennel, the one that I purchased. And so I knew she could, and so I wasn't concerned at all. I had to check in at the counter, because when you travel with a pet, you have to check in at the counter. And I let her, like I said, I put Mimi in the thing. Mimi, of course, she's not used to being in that particular carrier, and she's at an airport, unfamiliar place, unfamiliar people, and, she's a little nervous, as am I. I'm always a nervous flyer. And she, she told me that the dog looked uncomfortable, and I mean, yeah, because the dog was zipped up and she was looking at me like, "Mom, what's happening?" And she asked me, "Can the dog stand up and turn around?" And I said, "Yeah, she did it last night." And then she basically, I don't know what she said, but she needed to see the dog do this. And I told her, I'm like, "Well, I haven't taught Mimi, like, what turnaround means. I haven't shown her any tricks. She doesn't know how to do that. Like on command." And like I said, I know the requirement online said that the dog has to be able to do that, which to me was more of like a sizing requirement and a concern that the dog would not be squished inside the carrier. Not, I didn't realize that they could ask for the dog to perform that task. And of course, Mimi could not. She had no idea what turnaround meant. And even though I tried to walk away, that actually probably just made her more anxious, because she didn't know why I was walking away from her. And the lady then asked me, she was basically saying no, that she wasn't fit to travel. And I was getting really, really freaked out for many reasons. And she said, "How tall is your dog?" I was like, "I don't know." She's like, "Well, is she bigger than 11 inches? And I think I said yes, maybe, I don't know. And she's like, "Well, then she's too big to travel." She's like, "You got to call someone to pick her up. She has to be under 11 inches. And, this had been going back and forth, and she had, I was really frazzled and really close to having a panic attack. And I could not believe what I was hearing, right? That basically my dog was being denied boarding. So I called my niece, and she did graciously agree to come get her and to take care of her for the week that I had planned to be in Miami. And I asked the agent if she could check me in while I waited for her to come back. She said no. She said to come back once the dog was taken care of. So I walk outside, and I wait for my niece to get there, and I'm really upset, obviously. And then when my niece finally gets there and I go to put my dog in her car, I'm sure there's cameras that show you the outside of the airport, but I lost it. I started like sobbing uncontrollably. I was mad, I was upset, I was sad, I was worried. It was like every emotion in the book. I was feeling it, and I was feeling it tenfold. It was very unexpected. I'm already an anxious flyer as it is. And, whatever. I go back inside the counter to check in, and I'm still sobbing uncontrollably. Again, sure they can pull up the cameras and you can see this. And the agent, a different agent, was trying to help me, and he was trying to get me a tissue, and I was like, don't even, it's okay. I'm like, I wanted to say it's okay because it's not going to stop me. Like, this is what happens when I'm in this mode, it's going to take me a beat to calm down. And I told him, I never expected this to happen. I have a small dog, and for context, Mimi was not barking or crying or doing anything. She just looked confused the whole time inside the carrier. Probably traumatized her, like they traumatized me. And then whatever, I get checked in, I go to wait for my flight, and once I write this long letter to American, which I'll share below, and then basically I cried myself to sleep on the flight. And the whole point of this video is hopefully American is watching, and I just want to say, like, it's not okay to treat people like your clients like this. It's not okay for several reasons, right? We all know the saying, you never know what someone's carrying around them, so choose kindness. And that is really true in every scenario I can think of, and especially this one. Your agent doesn't know me. She doesn't know my history. She doesn't know that I suffer from chronic depression and anxiety. She doesn't know that's why I need my emotional support animal with me at all times. She doesn't know that I don't have the funds to train my dog to be my service animal, so that then I wouldn't have to go through this and have my dog be treated like a pet. She doesn't know that this trip was so important because it might be the last time that me and my sisters could be together. She doesn't know that for Mother's Day. She doesn't know that that's important to me because my older sister became basically my mom when my dad died when I was 12. She doesn't know that we have plans to have Thanksgiving in Puerto Rico, and this was going to be mine and Mimi's trial run to see how she handles flying. And now this makes me think, oh God, I'm not going to be able to spend Thanksgiving with my family. And she doesn't know that we had a family loss in December and that I was unable to travel at that time. And this was going to be the first time I was able to see those people in person and hug them and tell them how much I love them. She doesn't know any of that. And I understand that she doesn't know, and I don't expect her to know, but I expect her to have some empathy, not only as a human being, but also as someone who works in customer service. And when you can physically see that someone is upset, we always preach active listening, but she clearly was not, and she didn't pick up on any of my cues, and she did not provide any support whatsoever. And just so you guys know, I did measure my dog, and she is not 11 inches. She is under 11 inches, or at most 11 inches. It's kind of hard to tell because she was moving around. I'll post a picture of her when I was trying to measure her. But, Mimi is not unused to being in a carrier. I have a backpack that I carry her in all the time, like to go hiking, and we would go on trips, even when I run my errands to stores, so she can be in there. So she's very used to that. She also has like a car booster seat, so she's used to being in those little spaces, and she loves it. She has a little pet stroller that she's also used to. I have a little baby carrier like moms have for their infants. And I know that in the past people have abused the ESA policy, which is why it changed, and now only service animals are allowed to fly for free and everybody else is treated like a pet, and there's that size limitation. But not everybody can afford service animal training. And not everybody who says they have an ESA is lying about it. So just be mindful. Maybe do some empathy training with your employees.